Good morning from my garden. I'm about to take you to show you some new things that have begun to bloom. See that right over there? That is Jacob Klein bee balm, or it could just be a scarlet bee balm, because my Jacob Klein last year was over here. But my birds have rearranged my garden the way they wanted in other ways, so I wouldn't be surprised what this is Jacob Balm, because I remember thinking about buying some scarlet, and I don't even know what the difference is. They look exactly the same to me. Now maybe Jacob, I tell you what, I believe this is scarlet, because I think Jacob Klein, the leaves are more purple. And I believe this is a scarlet because this does not have such purple leaves. It has the same head, the same flowering head. But this area, this Jacob Klein bee balm and these Comfrey plants have just been a bee haven. Every time I come out here, I'm almost afraid to walk by it because there's so many bees. Right now, of course, I have them all stirred up. There's one right there, working on that Comfrey flower. But they work on the bee balm too. But I just wonder if they don't like the Comfrey better. I know bee balm, it's named bee balm. They should like bee balm better. But they are always on that Comfrey. This whole area, this is kind of my whole yard is a wildflower garden. But this over here is some, that's a poke plant I'm getting ready to pull up. I've just about had all the poke plants I can take. That's a little yarrow right there, or yarrow. I'm not sure how people that don't live in the South say the word. There's another bee right there on that bit of Comfrey. So I guess if you want bees, definitely plant Comfrey. Also maybe plant some bee balm because it's beautiful, especially planted together. This Comfrey and this bee balm together are just gorgeous to me. But anyway, so I'm showing, this is a ballerina rose that I planted this year that is doing extremely well. I also want to show you, what else? The larkspur has continued to do well throughout. And I have some cannas coming up that will have red flowers. And back there, okay, I planted that corn. And you're going to say, why did you plant corn? Just not enough to eat. Well, I don't really want to eat it. I want it to be my fall decoration. And it's just doing abundantly well for that purpose. This whole area back here will be my cornfield, and in the fall. And I have a massive, should have it here, but of course it never works out quite that well. But I have a massive bunch of pumpkins growing. I don't know whether they're going to make pumpkins or not. That's always another. But I have the bees. I have the bees that are necessary to pollinate. This is a maypop growing up here. Purple passion flower. I believe it's native to Mississippi. I'm not sure. No, I don't think it is. It may be. I don't know if it is or not. That's not as important to me as it is for some people. But you see that little bit of that ear of corn growing on my corn. It may be the only ear of corn I have. I don't know. I can't really get it. I can't even get back there. More bees working the larkspur. So people talk about having a pollinator garden. Well, I'm showing you several that they've been on. They work everything in my garden. They're always in my sunflowers. I have tons of sunflowers, that the birds have planted where they wanted them to be. They're always in my sunflowers. They're in my roses. I want to show you the progress on this. I bought these, sounds crazy, but I bought two 6x8 or 6x10, I don't really know what this is, pop-up greenhouses, and I discarded the greenhouse fabric. Actually, the greenhouse fabric I'm using it to as a weed stop on my pathways, but I'm using the framework to create a wisteria arbor. See that right now it's mainly growing green beans that reseeded from last year. There is wisteria planted on each end. It's going to take a year or two, but eventually the wisteria, and I have new Peggy Martin rose planted there. This wonderful Peggy Martin rose that I only planted last year is just about to take over. Oh, I have some green beans. Look here. The key to happiness is to look in your garden and be delighted by the fact that your green bean plants have babies. When that kind of stuff can make you happy, I guarantee you will be a happier person. And that's one reason I garden, for the little things that make me happy. But I want to show you another plant. All right, over here, there are several fragrant roses growing along here. I just planted them but on this, I've moved my Louise Odier to this little obelisk because she's a smaller climber. I disrupted her to move her, so it'll be next year again before I have blooms. But that is the most fragrant old rose. And right next, down here, let me show you this beauty. That's a Marie Pavier, which is another old rose, very fragrant. Someone was in my garden yesterday or the day before, and I plucked some of these Marie Pavier blossoms and let her smell them, and she says, "That smells like perfume." And I said, exactly, because the old first perfumes, the grandma perfumes, were made from Marie Pavier, Louise Odier. The bourbon roses, fairy roses. No, not fairy, that's not such a, but I do have some Baron Prevost. Most of my bourbons aren't up yet, but this whole area is going to be covered with bourbon roses, fragrant. So it's going to be a fragrant walk, and that's what I want. And down at the foot of the bed are Chandler strawberries. Isn't that prayer? To me, this is paradise.